Welcome my dear students on your favorite learning platform Learn Forward, and we are learning science here with the book Link with Science by Feathercap. Okay, so this is our chapter number 8 today, and the title says that we are going to learn here about soil. So what is soil? Soil is something that we see on the ground or on the land. Okay, soil is something on which plants grow. Yes, this is the general understanding that we have about soil. So what is it? Let's start. So this first activity, let's start. Okay, this is a very general one. I am the earth surface. I am the earth surface. I am formed by the breaking up of the rocks. So when rocks break, soil is formed. Okay, and this is a process that takes place over millions or hundreds of years, hundreds or thousands of years. Sorry, not millions. Okay, so soil. I grow on hill slopes. Hill slopes. You like me hot. So tea. Tea grows on mountains or hilly areas. Okay. Potters use me, potters that make pots, use me to make pots and toys. And what is it? It is clay. Clay is used to make pots and toys. Okay. So let's start. Our source of food is plant, and plants are grown in soil. We grow fruits, vegetables and crop plants in the soil. Soil gives support, water and mineral to the plants. So this is that important. Okay. Thus, soil is very important and useful for us. The earth surface is covered with soil. So the earth surface is covered with the soil only. Now, formation of soil, how this soil is formed. So in this line, we now understand that when rocks break and they become very minute or very coarse particles happens or formed, then only the soil is made. So here they are saying the earth is a beautiful place to live, that we know, and we agree to it. There are hills and plains, deserts and mountains, dry lands and seas on the earth. So there are different areas that are present on the earth. A variety of animals live here. Different types of plants grow on it. So there are variety of plants that grow that we see around ourselves, and they are growing in the soil only. The earth was not always like this. In the beginning, there was no life on the earth. Okay, so in the starting, there was no life. There was some first cell that arose, and after that, later on, all the life forms have been formed. So it was covered with hard rocks. At that time, when there was no life, no living cell, the earth was covered with hard rocks only. The sun heated up the rocks. So because sun is shining continuously, so it just heated up the rocks. The rain cooled them and wind blew over them. So these are the physical factors or physical phenomena that are taking place from the very beginning of the earth. So sun is shining, then rain is cooling down the rocks, then the air is blowing them away. So this continued for millions of years. As a result, the rocks broke up into smaller pieces. So because of this physical activities, the uh, big rocks, they now have been turned into smaller pieces. Now these small pieces broke further into smaller pieces. They were carried around by wind and water to one to another place. The pieces rubbed against each other till they became tiny particles of soil. Okay. So over why we are saying that millions of years and thousands of years have taken this time to create soil, because the huge rocks are converted into very fine particles that you see today as soil. The action of soil, the rain and wind broke up the rocks to make soil. It took millions of years for this to happen. Okay. Now rocks particle vary in size. So these again are different types of rock particles that some form the soil, some form some other substances. So what are the what are the different things that are present or that we see or we need to study based on the rock particles? So large grains are called gravel. Large grains of what? Rocks. So this is the picture of gravel. Okay. In Hindi you call it as bajri. So this is large grains. Okay. Sand has grains much smaller than gravel. So now this is sand. Okay. Wraith. So this is sand, but it again have a coarse particles, not very fine. And then it is gray, brown or yellow in color. We are talking about sand. It is found on the seashores or in the deserted area. We have sand only. Clay is made up of very fine grains which stick together Gravel, sand and clay vary in color from place to place. Now, three different size of particles you are seeing here. One is of gravel, one is of sand. So, these have the biggest particles or big particles of the rocks. They are coarse and these are very fine, very small. Okay. So, this is intermediate, this is big and this is very small. Now, types of soil based on the particle size. Soil can be divided into three main types. What are these? Number one is sandy soil. So, of course, the sandy soil is made up of sand only. Okay. Soil that has lot of sand is called sandy soil. Sand particles are not very fine. They are not very fine, but they are coarse. The space between the sand particles allow water to pass through them easily because they are made up of rocks. So, this sand do not hold much of the water. It just allow all the water to pass down. Okay. And it is also used as filters. That is why rainwater seeps through the sandy soil quickly. Deserts and land near the sea have sandy soil. And this is the reason why the deserted area do not have much of the moisture in their soil and in their air. Because all of the water that is coming from the rain, it just seep down underground very fastly. Okay. Now, clayey soil. This is the second type of soil. Clay soil is smooth and soft. So, clay is a very chickeny soil. So, it is used to make these ghadas and pots and everything. Okay. Some ornamental things, some flower pots. So, it is made up of clay only. Clay soil is smooth and soft. It is made up of very fine particles of soft rock and still because the particles are very small, they do not have much of the air in between them and they remain sticky. The particles are very close to each other, so water cannot pass through the clayey soil easily. It just locks the water upside. Okay, you need to just mash it to mix water in it, otherwise the water will remain upside only. The soil at the bottom of a lake or pond is clay. So to get a clay soil means potters generally take this soil from the bottom of the lake or pond. Now what is this loamy soil? This is the best soil because we want to plant trees, we want plant to have healthy growth. For that reason, loamy soil is the best soil. Loamy soil is a mixture of equal amount of sand and clay. So it has equal amount of sand and clay. So it has property of both. It can hold enough air and water. Water passes through loamy soil slowly and gradually. So the moisture remains for a longer time there. It also has a lot of humus. Now what is humus? All the dead and decaying organic matter is called as humus, means dead leaves, animal excreta, human feces, all the waste that is coming from the animals or plants is actually called as humus. So it is rich in humus and humus provides fertility to the soil. Humus has enough minerals and keep the soil loose so that the root can easily go deep. So the soil which has humus is considered to be a better soil. Okay. So now choose the correct answer. This is a very simple questions based on the content that we have read. Now the making of the soil took hundreds, thousands or millions of years. The soil is home to birds, insects or elephants. Insects. It is the home to insects. Sand, clay or loam made up of fine particles of soft rock. Fine particles, clay. Okay, clay soil. Now what does soil contain? Now what all things that the soil has? So for that you need to do this activity. What you have to do? Take some soil from a garden. Take some soil from the garden, maybe from your school garden or your lawn. Put it into an empty jar. Fill the jar with water now. Allow the mixture, cover the lid and shake well. Now you have to shake it or stir it. Allow the mixture to stand for 15 minutes. Now look at the jar carefully. The stones settle down at the bottom. The grains of sand are seen above the stone. The clay settles down above the sand. The water above the top layer is not very clear. This activity shows that soil contains humus, clay, sand and stone. So here what you have to do, take some handful of soil from any maybe your garden or your place. Keep it inside a jar, a glass jar and then fill water in it. Okay. Now you have to shake that jar and just keep it for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, you'll see that different layers settle according to their weight or density. So now the stones are most heavy, so they just settle down at the bottom. Then the sand, then the clay, okay, settle on the surface of the sand, and then the humus part, means the part that is present in the soil, the dead leaves or straws or excreta, some such things are on the top of it. Okay, so these show the different layers of the soil or different particles that are present in the soil. Now activity 2, what you can do, now put some soil in a small tin, cover it with a lid. With the help of an adult, heat the tin on a low flame. Open the lid, you will see drops of water inside of the lid. This proves that soil has moisture too. So in your previous classes also you learn about what is this water. So whenever water gets heated up, it just turns into water vapors. And after getting a lower temperature, these water vapor again combine to form water molecules. So here it is happening. The soil that you have taken from the garden has some amount of moisture in it. You have kept it in a tin can. Then you have heated this can. So the moisture only will turn into water vapor, and the inner lid will get some water droplets, because after these water vapors are striking the tin, they are again condensing back to form the water. Otherwise, where this water is coming from? Okay. Activity 3, put some soil in a glass jar there, pour water over it. You will see bubbles float up. This happens because air is trapped in the soil. So now keep the soil in the jar, fill the jar with water, and you'll see that small bubbles are coming up on the surface of the water. So this shows that there was some space that was occupied by the air in the soil, and that is now being escaped in the form of bubbles. Okay. So now soil and plants. So these activity you can perform at your home in the presence of some elderly person around. Okay. Now seeds need soil to germinate, otherwise they won't germinate, because they have these soils and roots that interact with each other so that they can get all the nutrient and water. Grow into healthy plants. So this is seed germination. Plants grow well in fertile soil. Now what is fertile soil? Fertile soil is that soil that has all the necessary things that are required for growth of the plant. Okay. Now root fix the plant firmly in the soil. So now plant has some roots that give anchorage to the plant to the soil. They absorb the water present in the soil. So now roots are responsible for absorbing water and mineral from the soil. Many seeds that fall on the ground remain buried in the soil. So why? Because soil, because of air, they just come and make a layer on the surface of the things every time. So that means whenever the seed falls, there might happen that the soil is coming from any of the source, and it just covers the seed. So now during the rainy season, because rainy season provide water to the seed, these seeds germinate into new plants. So nobody is actually sowing the seeds, but this is a natural process of new plants growing. Now soil which is rich in humus is fertile. We already read it. Manure is khad. Okay, it is a type of fertilizer. You can say, but originally it is called as manure, that is formed as in an organic form. Manure has plenty of humus which makes the soil fertile. Manure is mostly a mixture of cattle dung and plant material. Okay, so cattle excreta means all the waste product from the cattle along with plant materials forms the manure, and it is very rich in humus. It should be given to the plants so that they can get good amount of nutrients there. Okay, so this is how a plant germinates. Seed then start germinating, getting all the moisture and minerals and water, everything, and then now it is turned into a new sapling. Now farmers add manure to their fields. This helps farmer to grow healthy plants and get good crops. So most of the farmer, they have cattle too, so they just accumulate all the waste or cow dung that is coming from the cows or cattle, and they later on use this manure to fertilize their soil. Now uses of soil. What are the uses of soil? Soil is useful in many ways. Plant get water from the soil for growth. So very important, foremost thing. All living things depend directly or indirectly on plants. So I am eating plant part directly, so I am directly dependent. I am eating meat of an animal that is dependent to a plant, so that means I am indirectly dependent on plant. We get many useful minerals from the soil. Okay. Soil is home to many animals too. Tiny insects like ants, worms like earthworm, rabbit and rats also make their burrows there. Okay. Potters make use to clay to make earthen pots and toys. So it is home to many animals, insects majorly. Potters used to make earthen pots. Plants use water from the soil, and minerals also we get. Okay. So now earthworms are considered to be farmers' friend. Why? Because it makes by moving and going up and down of the soil, it makes the soil porous. Okay. It builds tunnels in the soil so that easy aeration, all the air can just go there inside the soil. Okay. Okay, now these are the points that you need to memorize. Let's start with the competency based questionnaires. What is the importance of air in the soil? So air is always used to breathe. So here it allows plants, roots and soil animals to breathe. Correct. Select the option which on unscrambling gives the name of a type of soil that has a lot of space between its particle and is found in seashores. So the coastal areas means the land that is present, the beach area actually have sandy soil. We all know that. So sandy. SANDY. Okay. So sandy soil. It has a lot of space in between them because it is this soil has coarse particles, granules type. Now choose the correct answer. The heaviest part of the soil is gravel. These are the pieces. Okay. Okay, the heaviest part of the soil. Gravel is not considered actually the part of soil. You can mark here as sand because sand, clay and loam, these are the things, three things that we have learned here about soil. So sand. Which of these things is not a natural part of soil? Sand, humus, glass. Okay, we put it there in the soil. The soil is sticky and mostly used for making pot is clayey soil. Which of these is the lightest material? Humus. Humus, because it floats on the surface of the water when you are doing that activity. This animal is called the farmer's friend. So earthworm, the last statement that we have read in this chapter. Now fill in the blanks. Different types of soil are, now you tell me, what are the different types of soils? Sandy, clayey and loamy. Humus is made of dead and decaying matter. Farmers add to soil to make it fertile. Manure. Okay. Many kinds of dash live in the soil. Many kinds of animals, you can say. Animals live in soil. Soil which is rich in humus is fertile. Humus. Okay. Now tick and cross. True, false. Loam is a mixture of sand and stones. No. Loam is a mixture of sand and clay. Pots and toys are made up of clay. True. Soil does not contain air. It contains air. And the soil that contains air is considered to be a good soil. Loam contains sand, clay and humus. Yes, true. Sandy soil is best for the growth of plants. No. Loamy soil is the best for growth of the plants. Now match. Loam, sticky, best soil for plants. Loam is the best soil for plants. Humus, provide minerals for the plants. Clay, sticky, and sand, yellow or grey. Okay. Now subjective questions. What is soil? It is a type of natural resource that is present on the surface of the earth and is formed by the withering or breaking of the rocks. Which soil is best for growing plants and why? Loam soil is considered to be the best soil for the growth of plants because it has equal amount of sand and clay. It is well aerated and it can also hold much of the water. Name the three types of soil: clay, sandy and loamy. What is humus? Humus is the, you can say it is the decomposed part of or you can say organic matter that is coming from animals or plants, means this is the dead part that we get from plants and animals together. It just go inside the soil, mix there and makes the soil more fertile. How is soil formed? It is formed, it takes millions of years of time. Whenever these big rocks, they are heated up by the sunlight, then they are cooled down by the rain, and wind blows these rocks from one place to another place. Due to these physical activities, over the time of millions of years, the rocks are broken down into smaller particles and soil is formed. How does clay differ from sand? Clay have smaller and finer particles, while sand have coarse particles. Clay soil do not have, the particles of the clay soil do not have much of the spaces in between, and it is sticky, while the particles of the sandy soil have much spaces in between them, and these are not that much sticky. What does soil contain? It contains big rock particles, it contains sand, it contains clay, it contains some inorganic part as well, and humus too. Write 4 uses of soil. It can be used by the plants so that they can be grown. Next, it has it is the home to many insects or animals. It can give us several minerals too, because rocks are made up of minerals and soil is made up of rocks. Okay, so these are the things that are associated with the soil, and these are useful to us. Okay, it is a very important natural resource and we see it every day. So there are some things that we are aware about it already. Okay, so just revise the chapter. Come again to meet me in another class of science. Till then, happy learning, kids.